Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike. I am going live today to speak about a couple things that I came to the realization of when it comes to this season, when it comes to websites, when it comes to like launching online stores and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of touch on some of those topics, but also let you know about sort of a solution, as well as some of the comments that some of my own clients and prospects have been asking me. So one of the things that I've been getting a lot recently is, Mike, why are you charging less for websites? Why are websites less now than they were a couple of years ago with you? And one of the primary reasons why is because the realizations that I'm going to speak on is centered on where people are investing their money. So all of us as business owners, we have to be we have to calculate what's going to bring us the most return when it comes to investing our capital into something, creating something, producing assets. We need to have a full understanding of, for every dollar that's coming in, or for every dollar that's invested, how much more of their friends are they bringing back with them, right? So if I invest a certain amount into something, how much more money is that producing because I invested it? And so that's part of some of the topics that I'm going to be speaking on today. A lot of it is primarily, again, centered on websites. And it's because a lot of people believe that their website is their, well, it is. It's sort of like your online home. So it's important to kind of know what elements or what things you need to, make sure you pay attention to. I don't like to call myself a web developer anymore. I think that calling myself a web developer puts me in this box where most people would say, hey, my cousin Jay does that, or my friend Susan does that. That's not what I do. That's not what I do. I have a method and a model that I put all of my clients through. And what that method and model is, it's called the ART method. The ART method the A stands for attention. So if you have a business, if you have anything, even if you have a nonprofit organization, one of the first things that you have to do if you want to get people to buy into your vision is you have to get people's attention. So part of my method is, of course, getting people's attention, and that involves marketing, right? The second part of that is relevance. That's the R within ART. After you get somebody's attention, you have to become relevant to them, their beliefs, where they're at, as well as how they see the world and what they want, what they fear, and what they would love to gain. And then after you get that relevance, it's all about trust. All right. So that's the method, but a lot of that incorporates websites. So let me kind of jump right in. So most people, again, they ask me, like, why are you charging less for websites? And it's because the realization is a lot of people have they have pretty secrets. They have beautiful secrets. And what that means is they invest so much into creating these websites or creating these things, but they don't invest anything into getting people to see it. That is sad. I think I have a poor connection here. 1 second. Can everybody hear me and see me okay? Is the quality all right? Type yes in the comments field if the video is okay. It's saying that it's getting interrupted. But just to kind of continue, I don't see enough people investing in traffic. I don't see enough people investing in getting people to see these assets that are being built, because they invested so much up front in building it that they kind of left their budget closed to actually driving traffic to their page, driving traffic to their website to be able to generate leads. The objective of any website is to generate revenue, make something easy, create awareness, or something of that matter. So it's important to make sure that people are aware of it. So I call it people building pretty secrets. I'm not a fan of building pretty secrets. I'm a fan of creating something that people will ultimately, gain wind of, and they'll convert. So I like to leave room for that. That's one of the reasons why me and my partners, we've created a more methodical process towards getting people to this mode, this launchable mode. So in this post, I mentioned that we're actually in the highest spending season of 2018. All right, we're entering into the holiday season. I think I get about 5 to 10 inquiries about somebody launching an online business on a daily basis. And one of the reasons why is because many people are fully aware. They're fully aware that that this is when people spend. So if you have any products, you have any services that you want to sell, typically, in this Q4 is when people want to be fully set up in order to do so. It doesn't matter if it's services. Many people are getting stuff done on their homes. Products, if you're selling products online, many people are actually launching their online stores. I met with a couple people just yesterday who have a ton of inventory. Excuse me. They have a ton of inventory, and one of the reasons why they want to invest in a website is because they need to get rid of it. So, Andrea, what's a good ratio of budget build to traffic generation? So a lot of that, so to calculate how much you need to spend in like the traffic generation, it's based off of your margins on your business. All right, with what you're selling, right? So if you're selling a high ticket item, so let's say you're selling a product, some of you, a lot of the consultants and the coaches that are on, you might be selling a $1,000 information product. It costs you nothing to sell that product, but you need people to actually buy it, right? So if you spend $500 in advertising and you get 2 clients, again, it's a $1,000. You're spending $500. You're spending $500. Did I say 500 or 200 for advertising? Let's just say 200 for advertising. Let's say you spend $200 to advertise, and you get 2 clients. What you just did was for every dollar you spent, it brought back 10 of its friends. All right, for every dollar you spent, it brought back 10 of its friends. So a $200 budget is not a lot. It relatively makes sense because you have a high ticket item. If you're selling shirts and you spend $200 and you sell 5 shirts, that doesn't make sense. So that question it's a tricky question. So I don't believe that there's a direct ratio between like how much you should spend to build and how much you should spend to actually advertise. It's more of a matter of just making sure that you're leaving room to advertise and not just consuming most of your budget in just building. All right. So again, going into this season, most people, when it comes to these websites, everyone just says, I need a website, but they're not focusing on getting into this launchable mode. So what does it mean? What does it mean to be in a launchable mode? What that means is, if you sell products, one of the first questions is logistics and production. Are you shipping products? Is this a localized thing? Are people going to be picking stuff up? Or are you going to be getting orders and you have to ship stuff out to people? If so, then you have to have all of your logistics and everything and all of your shipping and everything and packaging in order. Your products, are you running promotions? What will incentivize your target audience to actually buy your products or services? And those are real questions that put you in a position to be able to drive a tremendous amount of traffic and get a lot of people with. Are you kidding me? I think I have a poor connection down here. Might have to move. But again, if you can hear me, say yes in the comments and I'll keep going. So what promotions do you have? What is going to incentivize your target audience? If you're a coach or a consultant, what might incentivize some of the people that buy from you? It might be a 3-day challenge. It might be a challenge that you challenge people to do something for the span of 3 days, and that's going to give them the energy and the momentum to say, hey, you know what? You as a coach can amplify where I'm at and what I want. If you're selling clothing, maybe you might be able to run some type of promotion where you make some type of strategic partnership with local vendors, where if somebody walks in with a shirt, they get a discount, right? That will incentivize people to Tony, you go, I specialize in affordable first-time business people, and I only use GoDaddy, which they can basically go on there. I mean, I've heard horror stories about GoDaddy. I do not recommend GoDaddy to anybody. It is very difficult to manage a GoDaddy website. I do not know anyone generating, anywhere upwards of 6 figures on a GoDaddy website. So I wouldn't recommend that, Tony. But I'm a very big fan of WordPress. I'm okay with Squarespace, and I'm also okay with Shopify. If you're creating e-commerce websites, but I don't recommend GoDaddy. But either way, back. So when you create your production and you understand all of your logistics and you understand what pathway you're going to lead people through in order to buy your services and your products, then you're now in a more launchable mode. When you communicate with a web developer, you know what's going to actually grow your business. It's not a matter of, oh yeah, I started and I finished. It's a matter of I started and I understand every element of the website and how it's going to serve my business, and that's what's important to me. So even I've heard people that have horror stories about web developers, and one of the reasons why is because they have a hard time communicating what they actually need, and some of the elements and what the opportunity cost of not having that would be. And that's why you everybody has horror stories about web developers, everybody, but very few people work with launch experts. A lot of people do not work with launch experts. If you want to launch your business, you don't need to work with just a web developer. You need to work with launch experts, people who are going to connect the dots so that you fully understand what you're actually investing in. But going back to this actual season, so we have 1 week until we're in November, and then from then we have about 3 weeks for people to begin prepping for any type of Black Friday deals or Black Friday sales. Right after Black Friday, then you have the Christmas shopping season. So if you are in the position right now, if you have a business and you have products and you have stuff that you're looking to move, now is the time that you need to close up all of those dots. You need to connect all those dots and make sure that if you are pushing or promoting anything online, it makes sense. Just because you have a website doesn't mean anyone's going to buy anything from you. Stop. If you build it, they will come is the most false. That's the most false statement I've ever heard in life. Tony, I do 5 figures for 6 years. I feel you though. I do 1,000 other services too. I'm not sure what I do 5 figures. What do you mean? I don't understand what that means. When it comes to launching your business, you have to connect all of those dots. I'm amazed by how many people I'm doing fact findings for, and they tell me, hey, I'm ready to build this website. And then I ask them, all right, well, all of your images, you have images for all of the shirts. Well, no, I have some of them. Oh, okay, cool. You have descriptions for the shirts as well, like something that's going to describe, what the shirt is about, what the shirt means, who's the perfect person to buy the shirt. Do you have that description written? No, I don't have that. Do you have a title for each one of the shirts or each one of the products? No, I don't have that. If someone buys right now, what do you put in the shirts and to send it to them? I don't know. Okay. Do you have any promotions? Are you willing to give a 10% discount if somebody spends over $50 or if somebody spends over $40? All of those questions are necessary in order to capture people's attention, become highly relevant, gain their trust, and ultimately get them to want to buy from you. The point is to get people to buy. Megan says, has site Gorilla Launch building fee decreased for this? Has the site Gorilla Launch building fee decreased for this season? It's decreased over the past year. I've purchased a lot more hosting assets, so that's decreased my hosting fee. In the past, I had 1 rack from my virtual private network, and now I have 3. And so because I'm buying in bulk, that has decreased the hosting. Myself and my partners, we've created more streamlined processes, again, to get people into launch mode as fast as possible. So now whenever I have a discussion with anybody about a website, I send them all of the prep work up front. And so they're fully prepared to give me as much content as possible so that it decreases the length of time to actually build the site. Again, decreasing the overall investment. Do you have a fact-finding checklist? I normally do it. So because everyone is in different places in business, I normally do it through scheduling a very brief phone call, and that enables me to generate some questions specific to who they are and where they're at. I have questionnaires and I have checklists that are hundreds of questions long, but nobody typically fills that out. It makes it very mechanical when you're sending people a questionnaire and they're filling it out. What I love to do is I love to ask some questions, understand who they are, then I'll hop on their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter. I'll look at if they currently have a website. I'll do a little bit of research on the products that they're currently selling and who they say is their model, like what company they wish to model. And that's when, once I hop on the line with them, I'm able to ask them certain questions and to also get them excited about the opportunity on the back end of their investment. Because that's a huge thing, right? If someone doesn't understand what the opportunity is on the back end of their investment, then they're not willing to fill out a questionnaire. They're not willing to give me a ton of information. So through a conversation, I'm able to pull out different nuggets to get them to think about, what the opportunity actually is, and then they think a little bit bigger than what they were prior. Prior they're like, yeah, I'm just trying to sell shirts. Then after we speak, it's like, man, you know what? I'm trying to make a movement. I don't just want a logo on a shirt. I want the shirt to say something that's meaningful to my target audience, and I want my logo on the back, or I want my logo on the side. So then they start to adjust their products to ensure that the people that purchase their stuff is purchasing it for the reasons that they want them to purchase. And also, they're going to be proud to purchase. I see too many people starting businesses and they launch their business, 3 or 4 friends buy their shit, and then after that, they have no business. I will tell you right now, your friends are the ones that could potentially destroy your business because of your energy level. I do not get excited. Whenever I launch businesses and people say, yeah, I have 5 friends that's ready to buy, I tell them, do not get excited about that. Sorry about the airplane. I say, do not get excited about that. You need to get excited when somebody you don't know lands on your page, goes through your process, and then says, I want to buy your stuff. That's exciting because then you can scale that. How many strangers? I was watching a video by Grant Cardone, and he said he was talking about how most of us were raised and we were raised to say, oh, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers. But when you grow up, you realize that everything you want and desire, those resources are typically in the hands of a stranger right now. So think about this. You're starting a business. You want 1 million people to buy your shit. All of those people are strangers. These are not people that you know. Like Joe's in real estate. Joe does not know the world right now. The people that's gonna put the most money in Joe's pockets is not his friends. It's going to be the people that he does not know. It's going to be the strangers. So you described my first 6 months of business. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people starting businesses. They get very excited because, they have a couple friends that's willing to support them. Nothing bad about that. But if I'm starting a new business, one of the best ways that a friends can support me, or people can support me, introduce me to all of your network. I want to know strangers. I want to know strangers. If I could get good at getting a stranger to know me very quickly, then I will become, I'm fully capable of putting a product or service in front of them, and then having them able to want to buy from me, because it's not limited to my network. It's one of the reasons why on Facebook you have a limit of 5,000 friends on your friends list, but you have no limit to the amount of people for your business. Stefan, what would you say to the shy entrepreneur? The shy entrepreneur? You mean with them marketing or promoting their stuff? I mean, if you're shy, I mean, there's plenty of ways to still scale a scale a business that's owned by somebody who's not very social. But there's salespeople, there's affiliate programs. If you're launching a business, one of the best ways to scale is to create an affiliate program. Find people who have an audience and who are not shy, and give them a percentage every time they promote your stuff. You know, if I start a company right now, and I know, and let's say I make it like entrepreneurial apparel or something like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find other people who would say, hey, you know what? I love your stuff. I want to promote your stuff. I'm going to give them a cut. I'll give them a percentage. To promote my stuff if I'm shy. And they will make money incentivizing them to do it even more, but ultimately driving more sales my way. The same thing I'd say to shy Christians. I mean, if you can't be a shy Christian. I get people are shy, but the objective is to bring more people to the church. Not just go to church. You got to bring people to it. So you got to be a salesman. There's a very good book. It's called To Sell is Human. And that book is written by this guy named Dan Pink, all about understanding the real elements of sales and why it has become, why sales has become such a bad word and people are fearful of it. But it really puts it into a context to make you really understand that we're all salesmen. We're all salesmen. Shy people have to push through that shyness. Yeah, some people do, some people don't. You just have to make up for it in other ways, you know. Again, like if I was a really shy person, I would sell one to sell many. I would sell one to sell many. So what does that mean? If I could sell one person to sell for me, then I would do that as many times as possible. But that's amplifying how many sales I make. That's why referrals are good. You know, like if you get 20 people to be giving you consistent referrals, that's like 20 salesmen that you have out there selling for you. They're making percentages because they don't have to go through all the back end stuff, but at the same time, you know, they're serving your business by driving sales your way or driving, you know, referrals your way. So again, I say all that to say this. Everything that I'm talking about, I would love to have a discussion with you or anybody in your network who is looking to launch a business within the next coming weeks. Me, Chris, and Amir, we have this program called Guerrilla Launch, where we are deploying websites within the span of 72 hours, but it's because we are getting you hyper prepared up front. And we do that through, you know, a couple conversations, a couple emails, some questions, and then we fully understand where you're trying to be, you know, within the next coming weeks online. If you're not prepared, we let you know. I have people that hit me up and they say, hey, you know, I want to launch this business. And I'm like, all right, cool. Where your products at? Oh, I don't know where they're at yet. I'm like, you're not ready. You're not ready to launch this business. I don't even understand what we're talking about. Oh, well, I want to get all the website stuff in place in order first. I think that we should get the business in order first. That's when you're able to actually take and frame what elements of the site you even need. What campaign software do you need? After somebody gives you their email address or opts into a social campaign, what are you telling them in order to, again, drive them back to the site or retarget them in order to have them buy from you? People need to buy. If you're a nonprofit, people need to donate. If you're a for-profit, people need to buy. If you're in services, people need to render your services. You know, so all of those are different things that need to convert on your site so that you can, you know, get the most out of it. You can say, hey, you know what? Thank God I built this site. Not, oh my gosh, I got this site that's just sitting here and I'm not doing anything with it. Because there's a lot of, and I think somebody mentioned Wix. I'm not a fan of Wix. And one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of Wix is because, you know, Wix's angle is to get the. Wix is kind of like the gym to me. The model of a gym is, you know, gyms don't last if everybody comes. Okay, gyms don't last if everybody comes. You have to sell 1,000 people on a membership, and only 20 of them come. The rest of them won't come. So Wix has the most unfinished websites on the planet. Wix, GoDaddy, all of those platforms have the most unfinished. I can't even tell you how many websites like people tell me they have, and I look at it and I'm like, this Wix website is unfinished. No one finishes a Wix website. Like, it's crazy. So most of the websites I rebuild are Wix websites. or GoDaddy websites. Those are the websites I rebuild, primarily because people purchased before they were ready. They jumped into building a website. That's why it's not finished. And the website never served their business the way that it had to in order for them to act. Like, to Tony brought up like GoDaddy. I don't know anybody making a lot of money on GoDaddy sites. No offense to Tony or anything like that. Tony does his thing, but I personally don't. I have examples of websites of people generating. I think Tony mentioned 5 figures. I mean, I have people generating 5-6 figures a month. And that's like they're moving a tremendous amount of products, and their website's able to scale with them. Their website is able to scale with them. You need something that you feel as though you own. Like a Wix website. You can't really own that. You can't even grow a business and then sell it to anybody. Nobody's gonna buy a Wix website. You need to have your e-commerce lead generation platform that you own. You have to have your database of leads that you own. You have to have your platform that you own. So all of those are reasons why I'm not a really big fan of Wix, Weebly, and GoDaddy. What are 4 things I need to make me ready? Well, I love that you put 4. So now you want me to think. One of the first things that you have to know is, you have to know what your formula is, and by formula, that's your margin. As a business, as an online business owner, if you don't understand your margin, then you'll always be scared to advertise. Period. So one of the things I would say that you need is you need to understand your margins, so that you could say, hey, if I spend this amount, I'm going to be putting this amount in my pocket. That's what's going to get you excited about advertising. Otherwise, advertising is a bill and it's an unknown. The second thing that you need is your actual products or services. Like, you need to have that fleshed out in a way and communicated so that your audience understands what they would even be buying into. I brought up this example before. Websites are made to convert typically on a base layer. It's not there to do. You could go for the full shebang, but it's not always there for the full shebang. That's why a lot of coaches, consultants, e-commerce people, like they want you, like even people starting e-commerce businesses, instead of them driving home the products, what they're doing is they're having you download a free ebook. Like let's say it's an entrepreneurial site. Hey, download this entrepreneurial checklist or something. Then they're nurturing that relationship to get you to buy the product. So the websites themselves, it can't always just be a like buy my shit. It has to be a, hey, this is what this brand is about. This is a journey that's going to get you to want to buy my shit. So again, the second part of that is sort of clarifying what your actual sale is. Third is that journey, and fourth, I believe that in order to get you ready, you have to have some type of understanding of your target audience. And I probably should have said that first. Anytime you have a website, you need to you build it with your audience in mind first. I don't not to say I don't care, but you shouldn't care what you like unless you fall in your target market. Okay, hear me out again. You shouldn't care what you like unless you fall into your own target market. somebody asked me the other day, Mike, I want to get a logo. You know, what type of logo should I get? And I'm like, hey, ask 10 people that you think would buy your stuff, and ask them. Show them 5 different logos, and let me know which one they choose. That is how you can say my target audience will be more drawn to what's built versus I'm conceptualizing something, crossing my fingers and praying that people come and buy or people come and actually convert. So I think that was 3. So, I can articulate that a little bit more a little bit later. But thanks for that question, Stefan. I know you like to throw out numbers. You are Anastasia. How do you promote a website? So I mean, there's a couple different ways to promote a website. You can pay, so you can pay for advertisements. Facebook, Instagram is where people's attention is. That's how you're gonna. Typically where you're gonna drive traffic from. Or you can create content in order to drive people to your website, and then you can, of course, retarget. But overall, you either pay or you organically get people to your site. That is, going live, shooting videos, informing people, educating people, getting people to engage with you or start conversations in some way or another, and then ultimately they will land on your site because they're inquisitive about what that next layer is to who you are and what you're offering. Amy Porterfield, she does I bought her course, Webinars That Convert. And one of the things that she does, she puts out so much content that people question. They're like, oh my gosh, the free content's good. I could just imagine what the paid content is. So if you can get people there, people will always buy your stuff. Juanita, I caught the end of the statement about Wix. Are you saying you're not a fan of Wix because you don't own the platform? I missed the full context. Well, everything that I'm talking about here is just launching businesses online. Some people have Wix websites and they kind of make it work for them because the website is for validation. But I just haven't seen or done or heard of anybody scaling a Wix website and transforming it into something that they can actually attribute a tremendous amount of revenue to. Most people that build Wix websites, 1, they're either unfinished, or 2, it's just a brochure site just to say you have a site. But it's not something that they could say, they launched, or something that they could say directly serves their bottom line within their business. I just haven't seen it. Anastasia, if your website is not actually selling something, no, your website's always, it should be selling you, right? If you have a website, you should be informing, it should be informing people, that's why, there's some websites like a Wix website that's a brochure site. You're just selling yourself. But again, that's if you just want to have something vanity to be able to put out there. But typically, you want your site to serve you more than just, it being, a brochure. Ricky, what website platform would you recommend for somebody with no web development skills but has to update inventory, event, flyers, pics, etc. Often? So that's a good question. I'm a big fan of just being set up. Okay, so being set up. So I've set up WordPress websites where after it's set up, it's very easy to manage. But then I've seen other people that tried to build WordPress websites, and because of how they set it up, it was very difficult to manage. Shopify. I know plenty of people that they have Shopify stores, and based off of the template that you purchase, most of the templates are between $150 and $200. Most of the templates that you purchase are very fixed. You either remove or you put in different elements. Outside of that, you have no type of creative autonomy to move stuff around. So it requires web development skills. So to answer your question, it really just depends on the updates and the management, and that's what would determine which platform would be best for you. So it also depends on what you want to invest in as well. So if you purchase, let's say a WordPress website, depending on how much you're moving, a WordPress website is something that you would buy unless you buy WordPress hosting. You have it hosted, and then that's your site. Squarespace and Shopify, after you sell a certain amount, you're paying a monthly fee. So you're paying $29, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 a month to just have the website, and that adds up over time. So, excuse me. Michael Hardy, valuable content, not enough to say content anymore. I know, I need to start writing books, man. Wix sucks. Wix is not, I'm not a fan of Wix. Michelle, what are your thoughts on landing pages to begin with? I love landing pages. I love landing pages. A lot of it, again, is just based off of, it's based off of what you're selling. Landing pages is a great opportunity to drive people, to bait them on something they want. And then your objective is to nurture that relationship. So a landing page is just that, you're landing, but you need to, they're landing on the page, but in order to get the most out of it, what happens after they give you their information is what matters the most. You typically are not going to have like a landing page that just has it's not just like a sales page, right? Somebody has to, they would have had to already decide to buy before they got there, typically. Landing pages, like let's say you're selling consultant services, you make a landing page for a free ebook, or you make a landing page for a free training or a webinar. People come, they give their information, and then after they give their information, you send them a sequence of emails, or you touch base with them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. But that should convert to an actual sale, whether it's a coaching course, a coaching program, something. Typically, landing pages are, it's that front end of a journey or of a funnel that's ultimately going to get people to purchase something later. That's why upsells and all that stuff is very popular on landing pages, because the landing page, the objective is just to convert people on one thing. Juanita, okay, interesting. Maybe we just aren't sure how to implement design and functionality for their Wix site. Every platform has their strengths. Every platform has their strengths. And Wix, their audience just is not. Their audience is for the early stage people having desires for for websites. That's you can see it in their advertisements. You could see it in their pricing packages. You can see it in the fact that there are plenty of mid-tier. My general rule of thumb. This is my rule of thumb. If I'm starting, let's say me, right? I started a coaching business. I look at who I want to model myself after. I see all of the coaches that have Wix websites, and then I see the coaches that have the WordPress websites. I look at how much the Wix websites are converting, and I look at how much the WordPress websites are converting, and the capabilities and what they grew to. If these websites are generating $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year, and these are hardly generating anything, I model myself off of the direction I want to take. So if anybody has seen a successful Wix website, if you've seen a successful Wix website and you can say, hey, you know what? This person, I validated, they're generating a tremendous amount of revenue. They are doing it on this Wix website. Then that is your model for, if that's what you want to do, that's your model for your website. So you go with Wix. I'm a numbers guy. So over the past 7 years, I've built hundreds of websites, hundreds. And I also review hundreds of websites. I study web design, but also business development. I just unfortunately haven't seen many Wix-based online businesses generating as much as other platforms. So that's just my feedback on Wix. I'm just a resource, not a decision maker. But again, if anybody sees a Wix website that's successful, then model that, do that. Especially if you're gonna be able to manage it better, do that. But I'm a huge fan of WordPress, a huge fan of Shopify when it's applicable. So I could talk for hours. I would absolutely love to have the opportunity to discuss, either your business or some of your friends' business. If you could share, well, actually, you know what? It's in the group, so I don't think you can share. But I can provide you all with a link to be able to share on your own timeline if you choose to. I would love to have a discussion with anybody that you know that's looking to launch an online business within the next couple of weeks. And I would love to, and again, it's just a discussion. It is just a discussion. I am not looking to sell anybody on anything. What I'm looking to do is understand where you are and what you could potentially get excited about from an e-commerce, from an online business standpoint. And then hopefully you would say, hey, you know what? If I do A, B, and C, man, I feel ready to work with you. Or, hey, I have all this stuff in place. I'm ready to work with you now. Or, hey, I have all this stuff in place. Can you can you direct my cousin? Or can you direct this person to be able to help me launch my business? I'm a huge fan of getting people into launch mode as fast as possible. That's what matters. And I think that's what's going to grow and scale all of our businesses. So if anybody does anybody have any other questions? Aren't all businesses online businesses now? I mean, whether they like it or not, yeah, most businesses are online. Again, that's where people's attention is. So an example would be most people back in the day, most people were, they read the newspaper. So all of us, humans, used to literally get up out of bed, we grab our coffee, we walk to the corner, we pick up a newspaper, and that's where the ads used to be. That's where the ads used to be because that's where people's attention was. The other thing is television. Everybody had cable television. I was just watching something about the 90s. Everybody was scared when they started to see that there were 100 TV channels. They're like, oh my gosh, it's going to spread people's attention, too thin. That's where people's attention was. So advertisements on television was huge. These little circulars, these little localized circulars, people would literally look. They would walk to the corner. They would pick up these little circulars. That's where the ads were. The TV guide. People used to look at the TV guide to see when things were coming on. That's where the ads were. Everything, going back to what I said at the beginning of this live, my model, my philosophy is art. A-R-T. Where's people's attention? Their attention. How can I become relevant? And where I get their attention matters with regards to how the method you become relevant. After I become relevant, I need to gain your trust. And right now, everyone's attention is on these little devices. It's on there. I mean, to be honest with you, most people don't even have a laptop anymore. There's more cell phones than there are laptops. So Google, Facebook, they all know it. That's why Google's algorithm now is mobile first. Google's algorithm is mobile first because they know there's more people on their mobile device than they are on laptops or anything else. So again, would love to chat with some of you, or shoot me a message and let me know if you have a friend or anybody that would like to have a discussion about launching their business, going into this Q4 2018 season. And if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I'm gonna hop off here. I have a call coming up in a little bit here, and I would love to learn more about what you all have going on. Rick, Cafe Madrid, 6 p.m. networking, Free Bear. I like Free Bear. I might check that out. For viewers, how does someone get in contact with me? Well, I would love in the post itself, in the description, there's a link to be able to set up an appointment directly with me. So you go to that link, it'll take you to a landing page. It's going to take you to a Guerrilla Launch landing page, and that you can literally see my calendar, and you can you enter your information in there, and then we're set up. We're good to go to have a chat. Otherwise, you can go to MikeFelix.com. If you go to MikeFelix.com, there's other calendar links there, and there's also a field on the right side, or on mobile. It's in the center. It's like a yellow field. It says ask me anything. Ask me a question. Anything you input in there, I'll get an answer back to you within 24 hours. So you can ask me anything in that field. All right, 98% of the population has access to the internet. Yeah, everybody. I mean, honestly, homeless people have access to everybody has access to the internet now. Everyone has access to the internet. I saw somebody who I presumed to be homeless the other day, and they had a cell phone. So no, everybody has access. Access is there's no shortage of access anymore. So again, thank you everyone for your time. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will speak to you all soon.